Alrighty, everyone. Matt back here with another weather update for you guys. Appreciate y'all for watching this. I do want to go ahead and let you guys know we will be live streaming this afternoon. We now have an upgraded, enhanced risk of severe weather for parts of the far northern plains, including Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota, and a big old slight risk of severe weather that extends from Montana all the way down almost to the Chicago suburbs. So we've got severe weather today, severe weather tomorrow, severe weather on Sunday and Monday. So we've got a lot of severe weather to get through, and then we've also going to be talking about a potential cool down. Now, how big that cool down is going to be will justify on where this low in this trough ejection, officially happens at, and then we'll talk about the excessive heat still ongoing in the West, guys. If you're over in California, you guys have been baking, like dangerous heat, life-threatening heat over there. It's very normal this time of the year to see that in California, but it's still, when you're talking air temperatures without heat indexes above 110, that's a big problem. So we'll talk about that. General thunderstorms being in the forecast as well down towards the Gulf of Mexico state, so that'll be pretty active down there as far as things go. Not really expecting any severe weather. That'll stay up in the northern. But we'll go ahead and dive into this, guys. I don't know yet as well when the live stream is going to start. Just kind of look out for a live stream at some point this afternoon. The initiation period of these storms could be early this afternoon, or it could wait until after the sun sets. Typically, these northern plains storm setups like to wait until after 5, 6, 7, 8 p.m. to initiate, and then they go into the overnight hours, and then they trickle into the next day. So kind of what we're going to be looking at here. You can see on your screen, we do have a small marginal risk of severe weather for Las Vegas, Nevada, down here into parts of Nevada, Eastern California, Western Utah there. Be mindful of that. Wind and hail will be the primary threats for that. And then we have a little tiny low over here that's finally moving off the coast or up into Canada, here into parts of the far northeast. Hail and wind will be the main threat for that. Got general thunderstorms ongoing in parts of Missouri, general thunderstorms in parts of Texas. Just a good soaking rain to help cool people off throughout the afternoon and daytime. These general thunderstorms typically don't last that long. So we will talk about now the significant severe weather threat that we're going to have from Montana all the way down to Wisconsin. And you can now see that orange shaded color here, eastern Montana, southern South Dakota, or northern South Dakota, southern North Dakota there along Interstate 94. We have the chance for damaging winds. We have a 30% hatched wind risk, a 30% hatched hail risk, and a small 2% tornado risk there. Don't rule out that tornado risk. Yesterday, I talked about us having a tornado risk in a no risk zone, and we had a couple tornado warnings that actually went observed yesterday in Montana. So be mindful of that. Tornado risk can happen, even though if you're not seeing tornado probabilities, it's still less than 2%, not at 0, but less than 2%. So the main factor for today is going to be wind, damaging winds. We could see wind gusts up to maybe 80, maybe higher than that potentially anytime you get a hatched wind risk like that. So if you're in that orange risk here, eastern Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, be mindful of that this afternoon and tonight. I do think that there's a chance we could see some pretty strong damaging winds as well over here to parts of Minnesota, parts of western Wisconsin. There's some models are showing potentially a little squall line MCS develops, and then some are showing an unorganized event. So we'll kind of see what happens. There is ongoing convection right now working its way through Minneapolis, eastern and central Wisconsin right now. So be mindful of that as well if you're out and about. But that slight risk does, that level 2 yellow shaded color there, that slight risk does go from Minnesota, Montana, all the way down here into parts of Wisconsin, into parts of northern Illinois. And then we do have a level 1 marginal risk in that green color. So it goes level 1 green, level 2 yellow, level 3 orange, if you did not know that. The risk zones for today, like I said, that overall tornado risk, we could see a couple tornadoes today. Got 2 highlighted areas. Got a big tornado risk zone here from northern Minnesota all the way down here to the Illinois-Wisconsin line. So be mindful of that. That's basically saying there's a 2% chance of a tornado within a 25-mile radius of a given point in that area. And the same applies to eastern, central, and northern Montana and western Dakota. And then we'll also be having a wind and hail threat as well with this. Wind threat, 15% in the yellow, 5% in the maroon. And then we have a 30% hatched and a 15% hatched area in that black significant outlined area, meaning wind gusts over 75 will be possible. And then we'll also be talking about the hail threat as well. Large hail today going to be a big factor. We could see hail up to 3 to 4 or 5 maybe inches in diameter. Hatched area there in the yellow and red, meaning 2 inches or higher. Outside of the hatched risk area, yellow and brown mean 1 to 2 inch diameter hail. That's today's risk zone. We'll talk about what the timing of that'll look like here in just a minute. I want to go ahead and talk about the rest of the next 2 days as well. We do have a slight risk of severe weather now added to parts of mostly all of North Dakota in this. Northeastern, South Dakota, western, and northwestern Minnesota, and far eastern Montana in that level 2 risk, and then a level 1 risk that drapes all the way down here into parts of Michigan, you got Ohio in this, northern Indiana, northern Illinois, and there is a pretty big 2% tornado risk tomorrow. I do think there is a chance that this gets upgraded to a slight risk here, so be mindful. Detroit, Chicago, Madison, northern Indiana, Illinois. If you guys are out and about for your Sunday tomorrow, be mindful there will be storms in the area ongoing from tonight through tomorrow morning, and then re-evaluating and going through tomorrow afternoon. So we actually have some pretty high tornado parameters tomorrow in that area. It's just, can these storms materialize to that point? So it's something we're going to watch out for maybe an upgraded slight risk tomorrow or tonight when that update does come. Like I said, the risk zone for tomorrow, tornado risk is actually pretty big. You got one down here in parts of North Dakota, you got one in South Dakota, and you got the one that covers the Chicago suburbs, South Bend, Detroit, Toledo, Kalamazoo, Lansing. You guys know how it is here. Southern Milwaukee there, Kenosha. We'll be watching out for that isolated tornado risk tomorrow as well. Could get upgraded again. And then we'll have a wind and a hail threat, 15 in the yellow, 5 in the maroon. And then the same applies to hail risk, where we have hail, 15 in yellow, 5 in maroon. And then we've got one more day to talk about, guys, and that will be on your Monday forecast. Yes, Monday, once again, we're doing it again in the same exact areas to see it on Sunday. Marginal risk in the green, yellow, slight risk. There's not much details on this yet. We'll get more of that about that tomorrow. I do expect Monday to be more of a significant day. I definitely see an enhanced risk being issued somewhere in here. We're going to have a pretty potent upper level low that will be working its way east here. That'll have a tornado, wind, and hail threat with this. So be mindful if you are in the risk zones here on today, tomorrow, and Monday. And we probably will have something Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as well as we get closer to the time frame of that event happening. Now, what is this going to look like today? Now, like I said, there's a lot of models that are showing different things. I'm just going to kind of give you guys one run, and we'll talk more about this when we get on stream today. But some of these model runs are quite interesting. Very, very quite interesting. A couple of the runs are kind of coming in with not much of anything now, and we'll just kind of show the HER model. It's got ongoing convection right now in parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin. You can see all the way through about 8 o'clock. Not a lot going on, and then that initiation happens up here into Minnesota, over here into Montana. This is the late initiation period that we typically like to talk about. This is going to be an overnight event once again. So if you're out and you're about tonight on your Saturday night, be weather aware, be safe. You get a warning, a watch, be mindful of that. You can kind of see on both ends of the screens here, storms developing in a little tiny Boeing MCS. And if this does develop, we've seen these materialize pretty significantly. We can get 75 to 80 mile an hour winds, maybe higher than that out of these sometimes. So be mindful. Bloomington, Minneapolis, Minnesota, down in here into these populated areas, into parts of Wisconsin overnight tonight past midnight. We'll be having that ongoing. But I do think we'll have initiation probably earlier than this. Some of the models are definitely hinting at that. I think it just depends on how strong a capping inversion. And if you guys don't know what a capping inversion is, typically up here when we have severe weather in the northern and central plains, capping inversion is a temperature inversion in different areas of the atmosphere. And because of the heat being so, high, it creates dry air, and that dry air lifts, and it takes longer for storms to convect in dry air. You need moist, unstable air for that. There'll be unstable air, but how, we're probably going to have to, like I said, wait for that initiation of the sun to set so those temperatures can drop and line out with the moisture and the dew points, and we can get, severe weather to start up. And this is all the way to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So this is going to be quite an interesting night as far as what happens with this event tonight. So be mindful if you're in Wisconsin and eastern and central Minnesota tonight. It could be a long night. And then what happens in this enhanced risk area, we will have to wait and see. We'll talk more about that when we get on stream. I'll probably get on stream today a little bit earlier so we can talk more about everything as far as that goes. Now, I do want to jump to what we're going to be looking at as far as down the road. Once again, talking about that excessive heat that we're going to be seeing. Let's actually look at the 500 millibar wind height. This is your mid-level winds. This is what controls your highs, your lows, all your yum stuff. I don't know why I say that, but I do. But here's our high pressure system that's spinning over here in the West Pacific, causing this heat dome to continue to be a huge problem. Life-threatening heat, temperatures over 100 degrees for much of the West Pacific right now. That will continue to sit there for many, many, many more days, at least for another week or two, before this starts to kind of break down a little bit and we enter a new pattern as we get closer to the end of July and maybe beginning of August. Now, where's our severe weather maker at for today? You can see this big old zonal jet stream, more meridial but zonal, up here in the northern plains, Midwest. This is what's going to be causing these storms and these mesoscale convective systems to continue to be a problem. We're going to be watching these as these work east, and then you can see by Monday and Tuesday that low comes out of Canada, and we'll be watching this. And then as far as that goes, this should be exited by Wednesday and Thursday out of the northeast coastline. High pressure continuing to build over in the West Pacific. We will continue to potentially watch for a pretty decent cool down for much of the Ohio Valley, Midwest, Northeast, Southeast, Mid-Atlantic. Be on alert for that next week, guys. If you're wanting to cool down and you're tired of these upper 90s that we're about to have this next couple of days, pushing 100 as well, and these 80s, we might have some low 80s and some 70s work into the picture after Wednesday and Thursday and Friday of next week. So something to be mindful of. If you're over here in the West Pacific, the heat is going to continue. We will talk more about this on the live stream today. We'll be talking more about this in future updates once we get this, significant severe weather out of here. Severe weather will continue. Excessive heat will continue. General thunderstorms down here in parts of the Gulf states, as I highlighted in the video as well. Here, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida. You guys will continue to probably see these general thunderstorms day-to-day, heat-driven. Other than that, guys, like I said, look out for a live stream today. I will see you guys on stream. If not, if you guys don't join the stream, we will see you in tomorrow's video. Be weather aware, be safe, guys, and I will see y'all later.